God only knows what's going to happen from this. And really, it's just a bad look for baseball.
Who did we get rid of? Didn't we get rid of a guy? The Pirates? The player to be named later?
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates, as the third player in the trade for Chris Archer, got rid of Shane Baz. Shane Baz was the 12th overall pick in 2017. He was our first-round pick, obviously.
Okay, I will address, first off, sorry to cut you off. We redid the live thing because downtown Pittsburgh Wi-Fi 6. So apologies for cutting the live short. Podcasters, bear with me. I'll cut this part out of the audio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue. Who did we get rid of?
His name was Shane Baz. He was a right-handed pitcher high school pitcher from Texas. He was the third player to be named later in the deal for Chris Archer that the Pirates gave up, along with Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow. He's 19 years old. He's in the rookie ball level right now.
I've seen the Glasnow kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's a name I know.
Yeah. Glasnow, he was a stud in the minor leagues, but for the longest time, he just couldn't put together in the majors.
Virginia Power.
West Virginia Power. I visited.
No invite, thanks.
I visited their stadium this weekend.
Thanks for the invite.
I'm sorry.
Greg went down to visit a college buddy of ours with other college buddies of ours, and because I went to Slippery Rock for 1 year and not 4, I wasn't invited.
That was not the reason.
Why wasn't I invited, Greg?
Ask Dave.
No. Dave didn't drive the car down from Pittsburgh.
Dave's the one who invited us.
And Dave texted me afterwards and said, "Oh, why don't you come with you guys? I'm Big Dave." And I love you, Big Dave. That is a correct impersonation of you.
That is a very correct impersonation, unfortunately.
Again, for people joining the stream now, apologies for the stop there. Downtown Pittsburgh Wi-Fi is not what it used to be, and we're now running off my phone so you can see the beautiful faces in front of you.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
To recap, Greg, we got rid of a guy in baseball, and we got another guy who is he good? The dread pitcher.
The dread pitcher?
Yeah.
All right. Chris Archer. He is
Archer. That was it.
Yeah. Chris Archer. In his 3 starts with the Pirates, he's been actually kind of struggling lately. I believe he has a 5.65 ERA, which is not good at all. I don't know.
That's, folks, an earned run average.
Nice job. So it has not been good. He's been struggling since he became a Pirate, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what to expect.
Ty, I'm not being salty. I'm not being salty, Ty. I just want to go on a trip. I like trips, hence why I'm going to Philly tomorrow, hence why we're recording tonight, to see you, Ty. Not really to see you. I just like going places with friends. And if I'm not invited and I have him at my apartment, I invited him here, I don't see the big deal. So
he gets very testy, unfortunately. It's just how he is. But yeah, Archer has been struggling a lot since he joined the Pirates. I do not expect.
How many times has he pitched? Sorry.
3.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if it was like that's still a low number, but it's pretty good for how long he's been here, right? That's the normal number a pitcher would have pitched, correct? It's not like he's playing less games because he's been butt.
No, it's not. He's a staple in the rotation, but at the same time, though, I mean, like, it's just he's been struggling.
Who's our best pitcher? Is it
it's Taillon?
Yeah, the P guy. The P on your things, man.
The P guy. Dude, you will not let that go, man. It was literally just a random comment.
It was awesome. Mike, I do not have a trip to DC planned. We will get that. We'll do a live 2 beers deep down there. But Greg's not invited because we don't invite you to places. So.
Yeah, unfortunately. I didn't invite him to Milwaukee. I didn't invite him to Chicago either.
I don't want to go to Milwaukee. So we're done with baseball. I know nothing about the sport of baseball aside
causes too
from
much
the
conflict.
fact that I went to 4 straight games 2 years ago and was the biggest fan.
Causes way too much conflict between us, unfortunately.
Baseball or trips?
Baseball.
Baseball doesn't cause conflict between us.
I feel like it just did.
No, it's the trip. The fact that you went on a trip without inviting me with our friends. That is what made me upset. It has nothing like I don't mind you knowing about baseball and me not liking baseball. You went on a trip with our college friends and I wasn't invited. It's cool. It's no big deal.
All right. I was joking around, but okay.
No, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool. I never actually unmuted you from before. All right, so let's get into NFL talk. There was a huge article we want to talk a ton about. Recently, GQ, which just got released today, interviewed Jalen Ramsey. 3rd-year cornerback, defensive back out of Florida State?
Yes, third year.
Okay. If anyone doesn't know him, he's basically trying to be the Deion Sanders of our generation. Smack talking, backup walking, freak of an athlete. He came out, and I was surprised he fell to where he did because he's a once-in-a-generation defensive player, I'd say.
Yeah, I remember when the Cowboys passed on him for Ezekiel, which, I mean...
Totally cool with that pick.
Totally cool with it, but at the same time, I remember when it happened, I was like, What?
Yeah. So basically, Ramsey matched up with AJ Boye last year. They were the best duo, best tandem in the NFL.
Yes.
He came out, and I wrote some notes, and the 75% of my show notes are his notes on quarterbacks.
They're
Let me
good
read
notes
some.
too, to be fair.
Aaron Rodgers, he don't suck. Josh Allen, he trash. Tom Brady, he don't suck. Deshaun Watson, future MVP. His look at the quarterbacks is so funny because, like, it's basically the look of the quarterbacks of somebody that would play football against these quarterbacks. Like Carson Wentz, good. Jared Goff, above average. Deshaun Watson, future MVP.
Which is fair because I remember
Greg. He's my friend.
Because I remember Richard Sherman did that exact same thing too when he was talking about
And Sherman is one of the best smack talkers of our generation.
Absolutely.
Let's go into it. Matt Ryan, overrated, is what Jalen says. Matt Ryan is a product of the Shanahan system, which gave him his MVP though. Honestly, I don't see a problem with any single thing he said. Because if you look at Matt Ryan's career, he has been so up and down, so drastically good and so drastically bad, but also kind of just he's very close to a game manager, no matter his MVP, how good he is. He is one bad season away from Alex Smith conversation. That's just what I think.
That's
I
fair.
could be wrong.
That's fair, but I mean, I feel like I think the talent around him really helped his MVP year because that was just when Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman were kind of like
you
being
have
that 1-2 punch.
Like,
you have
physical, the best body-wise wide receiver. Like Antonio Brown is the best pound-for-pound wide receiver in the NFL. If you look at all the wide receivers, I think the number 2 wide receiver in my mind is DeAndre Hopkins. The number 3 is a toss-up between OBJ, Julio Jones. You can say what you can. I'm in the camp that, and I know this is not a correct statement, Odell Beckham Jr. would not be the same player without the catch. Now, his numbers the past 3 years have been astronomical, except for last year with the injury. So the 2 years before that, his numbers have been astronomical based on routes, what he can do with Eli Manning aging. Unbelievable.
And it's not like he's the only passing option in that offense too. Like Sterling Shepard's
great. They had Brandon Marshall last year. They have Evan Ingram as a tight end. They've had options, but what it comes down to is Julio Jones is probably the best freak of an athlete offensively we've seen since Adrian Peterson in his prime or Calvin Johnson. Like he's in that category of you were given a body by God that makes you better than this person.
Right.
Antonio Brown was given a body by God that looks kind of average on most people, but he was given the work ethic of 1% of humans ever made.
I mean, did you see that on Twitter yesterday where they were talking about how at Hard Knocks for the Cleveland Browns, like they forced a rookie to do the
Shout
jug.
out to Alex Kozora for the stat.
Thank you, Alex Kozora, you have a man. They forced a rookie at the Cleveland Browns to do the jugs machine for 30 times until he made catches. Meanwhile, Antonio Brown, after practice, did 150 reps by himself and then had Brian Allen, who's a developing cornerback for the Steelers, have his hand down blocking the passes as it's going through so he could have traffic and coverage. Yeah. I thought
he held Antonio Brown's other hand so he had the one-hand catch.
He had a one-hand catch.
No, you were in the same principle, but he held AB's hand back so then Antonio Brown had to one-hand catch 50 jug machine balls.
Yeah.
The Browns are funny to me. Hear me out. We'll get back to the quarterback thing.
We will.
The Browns are funny to me in one sense of the word. Antonio Callaway was punished for getting caught with weed by being forced to play an entire game preseason.
Yeah.
But you're a fourth round pick, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Fourth round pick. An above the world talent, a very Josh Gordon-esque story. You just have trouble when you fight with coaches and you get busted for marijuana, but you punished a guy, a fourth round pick. Let's not even talk about who he is or how skilled he is. You punished a fourth-round pick by making him play an entire preseason game.
Doesn't that kind of tip your hand a little to say, like, they have big plans for him?
It tips my hand to say that he is now one of the privileged NFL players to not get cut.
Yeah.
A fourth-round wide receiver for the Steelers that gets busted with weed is done. It just is. Now the Browns they're a building organization. They believe that they're very close to what is a playoff contention team. I am in the same. I think they are very close. I think they finally stop messing up. I think as soon as they get rid of Hugh Jackson, they'll have a playoff team. Worst coach, not because of his system. Look at his record. He's a 3-year head coach, and literally, I think he won 8 games because he had 7 with the Raiders. I could be wrong on that stat.
He was 8-8 with the Raiders.
Okay,
Yeah.
9 games. Thank you. Yes. But I don't know. I'm so out of the fact they are so lucky to have a guy like Todd Haley in their camp.
I feel like, though, to be fair, Hugh Jackson was thrown in a no-win situation.
Oh no, I agree. But you can't go 1-31 in the NFL. That is impossible. It seems like.
That's true, but if you look at it, though, I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns and just the fact that the people that they have actually making the selections and running the organization, they literally stop and go 2 years at a time. It honestly is kind of the case. If you look at, and I feel bad for doing this because I'm a Pittsburgh guy, but if you look at when the Steelers brought in Chuck Noll went 1-13 his first year, and then they made steady improvements.
He didn't go 1-31 though, Greg.
No, but I'm saying
He didn't go 1-31.
I understand that. But you're starting off Hugh Jackson in a no-win situation with literally a amount of talent that just weren't good.
Agreed, but here's my argument with it though. They basically said, Hugh, here's what we're doing. We want this team to win. We are in what was, and I stand by this. Obviously, the conferences change very commonly. You were in what is at one point the best division in football for a long span.
Right.
The Ravens were good. The Bengals were good. The Steelers were great. You bring a guy like Hugh Jackson in, and you say, Hugh, you have 5 years to turn this around. No one else in the world. I'll bring that up in a second, David Seckley. Thank you very much. He is in that same camp of freak athletes, but I stand corrected.
Let's wait till he's done after this rant. So,
but no, you can't go 1-32. I don't care if they give me 10 years as the Steelers NFL coach. If I go 1-32 the first 2 years, it's over. It's done. David Seckley brings up the point that Martavis Bryant was a 4th-round pick, failed multiple drug tests, and the Steelers kept him for 4 years. Shouldn't have named the Steelers. The reason I did name the Steelers, and I guess I will take absolute fault in naming the Steelers for that because they kept Le'Veon for so long, but they use scapegoats all the time. They use the scapegoat for the Big Ben situation, which was Santonio Holmes. The scapegoat for the Le'Veon Bell situation was LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
I will say now, though, Martavis Bryant is in the same camp of Callaway as the 1% of 3rd or lower guys that'll get busted because of their potential.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very big divide in the NFL between who actually gets to stay after a screw up and who gets to leave after a screw up.
What's also different is that Martavis didn't do it during training camp and then get punished by playing in a preseason game.
Yes, yeah, he failed drug tests, but he wasn't caught. And tell me if I'm wrong on that. He wasn't caught by the police with weed in his car?
No.
Okay.
He just failed a drug test.
Which technically the weed was of a legal limit. So it wasn't like this whole, he got arrested and printed and all this stuff. It was of a legal limit, but it is an illegal substance to have.
No. Them drafting Sammy Coates was literally the reason that they knew Martavis was going to be suspended.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right, Seckley, though. I take that back. I like the scapegoat Steeler way. So let's get back to this quarterback list because we ran to the Browns for long enough here. Other people on this list. Joe Flacco. Sucks. Luck. Don't think he's good. Which we both
that pissed me off a little.
He's pretty good. He's just hurt all the time.
Yeah. That pissed me off.
Whatever.
A little.
Blake Bortles. This is my favorite one. Blake does what he has to do. I think we can all agree that Blake Bortles does what he has to do, which is literally don't throw an interception too much and hit the open guy.
That's him respecting his quarterback.
How good would they be though, if they had Tyrod in my mind?
I'm
in the camp that I think Tyrod Taylor is the most underappreciated quarterback the NFL has had in a long time.
I think that offense could be opened up to just a whole other level with the people they have there.
Well, I think it gives Leonard Fournette. Okay.
Yeah, let's not go.
Another one, Carson Wentz is good. The jury is out on that one.
Yeah.
And the last one, he did say another interesting point. He said Tyrod Taylor is. This wasn't the exact verbiage, but he said Tyrod Taylor is what we thought Marcus Mariota would be, which is a safe running style quarterback that can still sit in the pocket. I agreed with that. I strongly agreed with that. I'm in Tyrod's camp all day, every day. Baby.
Not coming out though. I mean, that was kind of like.
Well, no, but he is what we thought Mariota would become.
That's fair. Okay,
that's what he was saying.
That's
yeah,
fair.
not coming out of Virginia Tech,
all right,
getting drafted by the Ravens.
I want to get into the Baker and Lamar.
Well, okay, yes, that's the biggest one. But I want to say something before we get to that. He also said Eli Manning, Odell makes him look good. You brought up a point where you said Eli did win 2 Super Bowls.
He did.
Boring, Justin Lee. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate your always quality insight into what is cool, hip, and fun, which is nothing. Douche. So you brought up that Eli Manning basically won these 2 Super Bowls, and that he's a first ballot in your mind?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he good right now?
He's on the decline. So
Okay, no. Is Eli Manning a good quarterback right now?
he's passable.
Is Eli Manning a good quarterback right now?
Yes.
No, Odell makes him good in my mind too, because look at last year. Last year, he was, my favorite word, booty thing. But all right, so let's get into another thing that he said in that interview. He came out and basically said that he didn't think everyone wanted Baker the way that certain camps and the Browns let out to believe. And in his reasoning, I actually kind of agreed with. If you look at the comparison between quarterback, because he did call Josh Allen trash. He didn't touch too much on Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen. But another fun point is Josh Norman said Sam Darnold has the same presence about him as a Hall of Fame quarterback and Wentz. And he has this presence of, like, he doesn't get people in his head. I think Darnold has the opportunity to be the best quarterback out of that class for football reasons.
True. Darnold's also in like kind of the worst market too. Like New York, he's just going to be scrutinized like crazy for that too.
Oh, I thought you meant just the worst. I was like, that's the best.
No, not
for him.
situation. Like I think Bowles is such an underrated coach, and I hope he doesn't get fired out.
Well, no, I think he's in the room with one of the smartest quarterbacks I think of all time in McCown, because he's made teams better. He made the Browns better. And he's not the best, but he's a super smart guy. He shows the kids how to work. And Teddy Bridgewater is a very intellectual quarterback. Obviously, if he didn't have his knee injury, he'd still be the Vikings quarterback. I stand by that statement as hard as I can.
I do too.
But I think Sam Darnold is now in a room of guys that one is a venture backup / starter. One was a big name starter that got hurt. And now Darnold, who's the top prospect. And I think he's in a room of guys that aren't going to be like, hey, no, I'm the starter. It's going to be guys helping him. So I love Darnold's situation more than any other rookie, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't really picture any other first-round quarterback that's in a better situation.
But the one thing that we did bring up was that basically Jalen Ramsey said, if everyone wanted Baker Mayfield the way his camp and the Browns led to believe, why was Lamar Jackson not the best or the next quarterback? It has a little credence to it because closely aligned, Baker and Lamar Jackson are way closer at their skill level than any of the other three.
Oh, absolutely. And they both had the pedigree in college to be that too. Lamar Jackson was a former Heisman Trophy winner, and so was Baker. Both of them led their teams to new heights. I think Lamar's best season, they were 9-3, and they should have beaten Clemson that one year too.
I remember watching that game.
That was a great game.
And honestly, the receiver just dropped the ball. It's so freaking frustrating, dude. But anyway, so it brings up a good point because Allen, Darnold, and Rosen are your pro-style, prototypical, pocket passing quarterbacks.
They're the vanilla safe guys that a lot of pro franchises go towards. It's just how it is. They are.
Baker is the most accurate quarterback out of the bunch. And stat-wise, he was last year in college, so it's fair to assume he is going into the pros. And he's very athletic. He's a go-getter. He wants to get a first down. Lamar Jackson is the best athlete quarterback we've seen since Vic. Maybe RG3 in there, but college-wise, Vic.
That's up for debate, but yeah.
RG3's rookie year is a decent argument, but college-wise, think Vic.
Yeah.
Think Tebow, but with an arm. Lamar Jackson's a very good thrower. It's one of those things where it's like, it's actually a good point. If people wanted Baker so bad, why did no team take his prototypical style quarterback? And Lamar Jackson, I think a lot of it has to come up with the fact that teams were asking Lamar to be a wide receiver. I can't stand the fact that he's a Raven.
I can't
my heart. We have to play Lamar Jackson when he's a pro. I think he's going to be great. I do.
I'm a firm believer that I give it a year and a half until Lamar Jackson is officially supplanted as starter.
You think?
Yeah, a year and a half. Because first off, Joe Flacco's still on that really horrible contract. Like it's one of the worst contracts I think I've ever seen.
So Seckley brings up a good point, and thank you again for your comment, Seckley. This is why we do Facebook Live, guys. This is the whole point of this. He says Baker reminds me very much of a young Drew Brees. That is his There's two guys that have been compared
I think-
heavily to him.
I think it's the height thing that gets everyone when it comes to that, though.
It's the arm thing. It's
Mm.
the accuracy thing. It's the drive to win thing. When Drew Brees was at Purdue, it was very aligned with what Baker was doing in college. The other guy that I really like the correlation between, but it'll obviously take a while, is the Brett Favre comparison. Now, the picture didn't do me any benefit to say that I liked that take, but the running gun, the being the man of the team, I love that about Baker. I personally thought Darnold was the pick for Cleveland, and that's obviously why I'm behind a desk that
No,
you see my girlfriend's makeup counter.
No, I did
because
too.
Baker went first.
I personally thought they should have gone with Saquon Barkley, but that was just me. Best player in the draft.
Yeah, you'll find out very quickly that Greg is a best player available, and I'm the need guy. And so weird.
That would have been fun.
So weird.
Just saying.
So weird, dude. All right. Basically, Greg, I know we don't actually have a legitimate timer right now, but I can tell you in the other stream around 40 minutes. It's been 20 minutes here. Is there anything else in the NFL you want to talk about before we close down for the night, brother?
We didn't touch on the Ben Roethlisberger part, actually. Just want to kind
Ooh.
of bring that up real quick.
So actually, I just checked out time. We have 7 minutes to talk about Big Ben Roethlisberger. Jalen Ramsey said, Big Ben, decent at best. Maybe there's an argument to be had that Ben Roethlisberger away from home is decent at best.
Oh, that's actually very fair. That's
So,
fair.
I like looking at this because the best trash talk comes from the roots of something that is correct.
I love the fact that it's literally a guy who is probably going to be considered the best corner in the NFL within the next year.
Yeah,
That's
and
giving us his
it's
opinion about
literally the best smack talk comes from the roots of being correct. Like Big Ben was very, very decent at best against the Jaguars.
this. He was.
So
Fair argument, yeah.
I mean, I stand by Big Ben. I think we are set for a Super Bowl this year, as does every other Yinzer, because that's what we say every single year. Correct, David Seckley. Thank you, sir. No, and it's so funny because obviously he's going to think quarterbacks aren't as good as him because he's Jalen Ramsey and he's him.
He is.
But it's funny. He said Ryan Tannehill. He said I've heard he wasn't very good, or something along the lines of it wasn't like a correct like blah blah blah. But he said I heard they don't like him or I heard he wasn't good, which cracks me up
That's funny.
because basically that's saying he can't stay on the field long enough to play me. They don't play the Dolphins that often, so I thought that was super funny, dude.
Yeah, the Dolphins are going to be a weird case this year because I hope Adam Gase doesn't get fired. I like him a lot, but yeah, that's.
Do you?
I like Adam Gase.
No.
Yeah, I do. You don't?
It's not that I don't like Adam Gase. I think the Dolphins are set up to be in purgatory. Like Devontae Parker just broke a finger. Their one defensive tackle blindsided Kenyon Drake. Their starting running back when he didn't have a helmet on and got released that day from camp. Like,
Although that's good though, because then Kalen Balash can get more work. You're welcome, Dre.
okay. So we got a couple minutes left. Some other fantasy football news that we'd like to talk about. Rashad Penny, broken finger. Do you know the end of that?
He's getting surgery on his hand, and I
No.
believe finger was part of it, but there's more
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
But 3 to 4 weeks ish.
which isn't that bad.
Now
No.
it lends credence to the Chris Carson train for anybody paying attention.
Although they are apparently very hyped about Rashad Penny. Like I think
You
Bleacher,
don't take a guy in the first round without
No.
being hyped about him is the
Yeah,
big thing about
Bleacher
that.
Report did a great article talking about him too. Like they were very excited about this guy. So we'll see what happens. If only they had a better offensive line. Just saying.
Yeah, I think the Seattle Seahawks pick in the top 10 this year easy.
Yeah.
I think they pick in the top 10 easy, and that's just the way that I think everyone can agree with. I don't
Yeah.
like the only thing they have is Russell. Earl's not going to play.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, I want to talk about this. We got 4 minutes left. Apparently, the Oakland Raiders are willing to deal Khalil Mack by the trade deadline, and we talked about how ridiculous it would be to I forget. No, it was Dre. Dre said there was a guy that he had a radio show that basically like was saying that we should give up Lev Bell for 3 first-round picks consecutive years, and Dre was like, that was a dumb argument because no team's going to give us back-to-back first-round picks.
No, especially when he's a free agent next year.
But
Yeah.
he did bring up the argument of Khalil Mack for Le'Veon Bell. Some picks are somewhere straight up-ish. I think it's dumb. I think it is dumb because we have one more year to, quote-unquote, run Le'Veon Bell into the ground.
We do.
But Khalil Mack, if we pay defensive players, which we pay the players that are worth it, a reasonable amount of money, It's an interesting idea, but no. What are your takes on that?
It is interesting. Problem with that is
Yeah.
that they just gave Bud Dupree a 5th-year option. They still have TJ Watt on a rookie deal. So if you bring in Khalil Mack, you would essentially put him next to Dupree, which would stunt TJ Watt's development. And I don't know. I feel like it would just be kind of messy. I wouldn't be in favor of it.
Agreed.
I think it would be too complicated.
We could put him at safety. He'd probably. I mean, he's good at everything else. He made all-team defensive tackle or defensive line and
linebacker same year. Yeah.
He's good at everything else. Put him at quarterback. See what he can do. Also, I want to bring up real quick. Big Ben is in concussion protocol. It's not as serious as the concussion protocol tends to be. I actually got in an argument with a buddy the other day. I am in the firm camp. Plant my flag on it right now. Josh Dobbs is the backup. Josh Dobbs is the best quarterback we have behind Big Ben. Mm-hmm. And Seckley, say it with me, Dobbs to Bucky Hodges is going to happen.
I'm excited for tomorrow's game, actually, to see Dobbs and Mason Rudolph.
Josh Dobbs to Bucky Hodges is going to be a household thing.
If I see Dobbs to Bucky Hodges while I'm watching the game, I will gladly just...
If Dobbs to Bucky Hodges happen, I will streak around my apartment.
You should streak around Philadelphia because that's where you'll be.
That was the joke.
Aww.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, Two Beers Deep. We appreciate everyone commenting, listening, joining us on the live Facebook feed. It's always fun. We are a podcast first, so please check us out on iTunes, Spotify, and everywhere you can find podcasts. Again, this is Two Beers Deep. Also, we have the T2B Fantasy Football Show, which is live, again, on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you find podcasts. A couple other ventures we have coming up. We do have a hidden podcast coming up that is in the fourth quarter of the preseason game. They're playing the fourth quarter, Seckley, because they're both starters and they'd want to get them hurt. That's why. Denny, I will do it because it is my apartment and not in Philadelphia. Greg will streak in Philadelphia.
Fuck that. I ain't going anywhere near Philadelphia.
But thank you guys for listening, tuning in, paying attention, giving a crap. Remember, we do buy all our shirts from Our Point Apparel. If you ever want a shirt, the best one we have is 2 Beers Deep because it is 2 beer mugs. People buy it for their friends, buy it for their family. It is what it is. Guys, thank you so much for listening, checking in, tuning out. This has been 2 Beers Deep with Deacon Greg. Thank you very much.
Shout out to next time, everyone. Thank you for following along.